Hartlepool Power Station is a busy industrial plant, like many others, with all the risks and hazards that go hand in hand with such places. However, what sets a nuclear power station apart from, say, the chemical or a manufacturing plant is also its most unique characteristic: radioactivity. Radioactivity generally exists in two forms: radiation and contamination. Hartlepool Power Station uses specialist equipment to be able to detect and monitor levels of both, because radioactivity cannot be detected by human senses. In general, the Reactor Control Area, or RCA, is the only part of the site where this is necessary, and if you're going to be working in this area, you will be given additional training. However, this does not mean that there are no radiological hazards outside the RCA. You may come across an activity known as radiography. Radiography involves the exposure of a large radioactive source so that internal welds and pipework can be checked and examined. You will see site notices displayed and advertised in advance, telling you where and when radiography is to take place. The area where the radiography is happening will be barriered off and notices will be displayed. On no account must you ever cross a radiography barrier. The barrier tape only has writing on one side, as do the signs, so you know whether you're on the inside or outside of the area. If you should accidentally find out that you are on the wrong side of a radiography barrier, exit the area immediately and report to the health physics monitor or radiographer in charge of the area. For those who are working in the RCA, you will either be a classified radiation worker with a radiation passbook or a non-classified worker with written arrangements. In either case, you will have a person appointed to act as your radiation protection supervisor. Your radiation protection supervisor is often your line supervisor, but this may not necessarily be the case. Make sure you know who your radiation protection supervisor is, as they are the most important person you'll be dealing with. You must ensure that you understand the information they give you and follow their instructions. If you do not understand something, ask. Never take anything into the RCA that you don't need to have with you, or that you can't afford to lose. In the unlikely event of any item picking up contamination, chances are you'll never see it again. Money, wallets, car and house keys need to be removed and stored safely before you enter the RCA. Your radiological work permit is the means by which we provide you with instructions to keep your radiation dose as low as reasonably practicable. Your RWP will have guidance and instructions to follow. If your RWP requires monitoring staff, you must ensure that they are arranged in advance, and work must not start without them. If you're required to work in contamination-controlled areas, you'll receive additional training. The same applies if you're required to wear respiratory protection for airborne radioactive contamination. If a personal contamination monitoring instrument alarms, stay where you are and do not try another monitoring machine. Report the alarm to your radiation protection supervisor. All waste generated in the RCA is potentially contaminated and must be disposed of correctly. Any waste generated in contamination-controlled areas has a specific disposal route. RCA waste, or green stream waste, will be processed via the North Boiler Access Shaft facility. This facility is open 24 hours a day for the receipt of waste, but only opened at set times during the day for its removal once processed. You must ensure that the waste delivered to the boiler access shaft is properly labelled. If you have items of equipment and materials to enter or leave the RCA, this must also be done at the North Boiler Access Shaft and agreed in advance with the Environmental Safety Team leader. You can only exit the RCA at the Guardians area. You and everything on you must be monitored for contamination before you exit the RCA. Personal items and your removable PPE can be monitored by you in the small articles monitors. Tools and equipment that you have must be monitored by the Guardian. The radiological hazard at Hartlepool Power Station is what makes this plant different from conventional industrial plant, and this is something that needs to be constantly kept in mind. We strive to keep radiation doses as low as reasonably practicable. Thank you for your attention. Please speak to your EDF contact if you have any questions.